During my holiday, I read 5-6 books, and they're all here. I won't go inland through all of them because I think my favorite would be The Whole by Oyamada. So I would talk a little bit about this one and just very briefly about the others. So I first got attracted to The Whole when I saw it in a second-hand bookshop in London. I got it for £4, and I picked it up because I haven't read Oyamada before, and this book actually won the Akutagawa Prize in Japan, which is a very prestigious prize. So I wanted to know what is it all about. The Whole is about a lady having to relocate with her husband to a new area because her husband got offered a new job. So because the new job was so near to their in-laws, so they move into this house owned by their in-laws and they do not need to pay rent. Little did the woman know that when she moved into the new place, she started experiencing very uncanny experiences, such as meeting very odd people in the grocery shop and also falling into a hole seemingly made for her because the hole is her size. And she also felt that her agency and her independence is slowly being eroded by the neighbors asking her when is she going to have a child since she doesn't have a job, or when is she going to find a job. And also the in-laws started asking both of them to help more and more with things like payments, etc. And this book has a very unique ending, which is not close-ended. So it doesn't give the readers simple answers, and that's what I kind of like about it. And I think that's also the whole point about this book. I think it can be polarizing for people who want clear answers, but they don't get clear answers. They'll be like, what just happened? But for me, to be able to mull over the book and even remember the gist of it until today, I think it deserves the Akutagawa Prize. And I feel like if you are interested in what I've just said, maybe pick this one up. I have put a reservation in for her next book, which is The Factory and Visa in the Attic, because my library have both of them. I'm waiting for the reservations to come in. So that's The Whole. That's my favorite. I give it 5 star. The next one I read was The Catcher in the Rye by J.D. Salinger. I know this is a very popular cult classic, and I haven't read it until today. I didn't really like it. This is the premise of the book is from the point of view of a 17-year-old boy. His experiences, his words, his speech, his ideas, his opinions about things, people around him. So he's very rebellious. He was actually expelled from a school because of how bad his grades were. And he still thinks he's in the right, and he doesn't have any remorse about what he has done. The whole book is filled with teenage angst, and I think it portrays the teenage angst very well, but I think it can be quite immature and also quite superficial at times. I don't know, some people really like it, but this is not really my cup of tea. So that's The Catcher in the Rye by J.D. Salinger. The next one I read during the holiday was The Dry Heart by Natalia Ginzburg. It's a very thin book. It's only less than 100 pages, but it's a very explosive and powerful book about the experience of a woman with a man who didn't really like her back. Her love was unrequited, basically. And it ends in a very tragic way. And if you like something very explosive, sharp, quick, you might like this. But I think I wanted more from Natalia Ginzburg. She's being called the next Elena Ferrante. This is my first book of her. I couldn't judge because I haven't read enough of her. I would give her other books a try. So if you've read any of Natalia Ginzburg and really love it, I would really love to hear what you think. That's that. And I also managed to finish 2 of the 4 Neapolitan series book by Elena Ferrante. So this is the first book I have on my Kindle, which is The Brilliant Friend. I quite like it actually. It's very addictive. It's very raw, very toxic, very real, and it doesn't shy away from giving you the very grisly, very ugly stuff about human nature. It sets in a small town in Italy, I think in Naples, and it's about a few families who lives in a small place and their relationship with each other. There is this girl called Elena, and she writes from her point of view. She describes her friends who whom she really admired, but that friend is really, really toxic. I have to stop reading because it gets so toxic and so petty and so, it's just there's no kindness anymore at that point. When I read until the last few pages of the second book. I think I will pick it up again when my mental health is in a better place. But I think when I put it down, I wasn't very well in terms of my mental health. My anxiety was at a very high point. So I put it down and I read something a little bit more mild and mellow for my sanity's sake. So, but I would recommend it is, if you want something very real and raw and you're very interested in just getting gripped by a story and not just wanting to burrow yourself in a story and not wanting to get out, try Neapolitan novels. It's pretty good, I would say. And the last one, before I end this video, would be Kawabata's The Rainbow. I don't really like it that much after reading some good Neapolitan novels. This is the relationship of a man with his 3 daughters, mothered by 3 different women, and their relationship with each other. The whole book is essentially about that, and there is also some commentary about post-war Japan, modernism, traditionalism in Japan. But I didn't really like it only because I have read The Makioka Sister by Tanazaki, if I pronounce it correctly, and that book was amazing. Compared to Tanazaki's Makioka Sister, this pales in comparison. So picked it up if you want something short about Japan. It's only 214 pages. And so that's that. I also want to tell you about what I'm currently reading very quickly. So I'm currently reading, because I'm reading the Nobel Prize winner list. I'm currently on, I'm reading it alphabetically. So I'm currently on Endrick, if you can see. I finished Eknond. I'm currently on Endrick, and I'm reading his novel called The Bridge on the Drina. I'm halfway through the novel. It's quite a long one, and I am enjoying it so far, and I will report back when I finished it. I'm also trying to read The Amulet by Roberto Bolaño next. I haven't read Roberto Bolaño before, but this is my first book. And lastly, for non-fiction, I'm trying to get to Patrick Kingsley, The New Odyssey, the story of Europe's refugee crisis. This is recommended to me by an Instagram friend called Nadia. I don't think she's on YouTube, but I really wanted to understand more about the refugee crisis in Europe, so I've picked this book up, and this is apparently a very good non-fiction for it. We try to go to the gym 2 to 3 times a week. In the gym, usually 2 days out of the 3 days, I will do weight training, and I try to swim once a week because it's good for my joints, it's not harmful to my joints, and it is a very good cardio exercise. I try to do swimming on Saturday or Sunday because that is when the lanes are opened. Otherwise, I also walk and run on my treadmill. I have a simple treadmill at home for me to do that, to increase my steps. I find that it really helps my mental health. So, and I also wanted to lose weight, so that's that. I have gained some weight over the last 1.5 years after being ill, because I think mainly I become more sedentary, and the medication that I'm taking called mirtazapine does increase my appetite slightly at the very first year, but it has stabilized now, so I don't feel too hungry now, and my weight has stabilized at around 58 kilograms. I was around 53 to 55 kilograms before this, and I sort of want to reduce my weight from 58 down back to about 55 or 54. And I think the missing piece is muscle, so I'm trying to weight train to gain back all my muscles. And I also want to do cardio, so I do 2 to 3 times cardio a week. So that's my exercise regime. After gym, we usually go to do our grocery shopping. We try to buy fruits that are produced in the same season, and this you can see are the fruits and the vegetables that we have got for this week. We've just come back from a holiday, so our fridge are completely empty, and all of this costs us about £60. In terms of my mental health, I don't want to go into in depth in this video because this video is already too long. I would do another video specifically about my mental health. I was diagnosed with anxiety 2 years ago, very severe clinical anxiety. I'm still recovering from it. There are good days and there are bad days, and the way I cope with it is just to take the symptoms as part of me now. I do have symptoms from day to day. I'm not completely rid of it. I'm still on medication, and I tried that exercise is one of the best way for me to actually manage my anxiety. And my anxiety is just not in the head, it is a lot in the body as well. I do have palpitations, I do feel very restless and tense, I do feel very unwell. Sometimes I feel very flat, I don't feel very upbeat, I don't feel very happy. My mood can be very low. If I don't get a good night's sleep, I get very distraught the second day. It's very hard to describe, but it's a very awful feeling. If anyone has been through this, they probably will know what I'm trying to say. And the way I cope with it is to take the symptoms as part of myself and not to give it too much attention, having confidence that eventually one day it will go. But just today I need to manage it, I need to just be with it and not to reject it. Things that help include exercise, medication, and also trying to not put too much on myself and do things I like editing videos, reading books, going out for a walk, etc. I will do another video talking more about my mental health, but just not in this one.